Good morning. This meeting is called to order. For the record, the time is 1:35 p.m. The date is July 8th, 2025. The commission and its staff are appearing from Helena, Montana in the Bollinger Room of the Montana Public Service Commission. I am Brad Molnar, the chairman and the presiding chairman for the meeting. Please join me in recitation of the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For the record, the following commissioners are here. We're all here in person today. We have Commissioner Wellborn, Commissioner Panucci, Vice President Fielder, and Commissioner Bukacek. And as stated, I am Brad Molnar. I'm chairing this hearing. The Public Service Commission welcomes any comment on any item that is on today's agenda or any matter that is within the jurisdiction of the Montana PSC. Are there any public commenters in the room? Yes. Okay. Would you please push the button for the microphone? It's right in the middle there. There you go. Please state your name, spell your last name, and what town you're from. We don't need your address.
Okay, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, members of the Commission, Public Service Commission, my name is Mary Ann Dunwell. I live in Helena on the east side, and I am a state senator. The reason I'm giving public comment is to comment on the North Star housing development and an incident that happened last week, according to one of my constituents, with the redistricting last year of the legislature. My new district includes that subdivision. My constituent called me and said it was Tuesday, July 1, sort of late morning. She said, we woke up this morning with no water from our tap. We couldn't, no water to drink, not to shower. She had to get to work. She has kids at home for the summer. And it was, again, she said, this has happened repeatedly, according to this constituent. And I just, I read an article. I haven't been keeping up with this so much, except for when, Mr. President, you and I were on the Consumer Committee together at the legislature. The issue came up frequently, but as far as being the senator for that district, I'm new to that. And so I researched, did a Google search and came up with a news article from December, Daily Montana, and that kind of outlines what happened and your intention to issue a fine of North Star Development. And you've probably seen it, but it says North Star will pay a fine for significant service and reliability issues. And it quotes Commissioner Bukacek and then Commissioner O'Donnell. And let's see, Commissioner Bukacek, you said, we've been waiting for compliance, and despite staff's diligence and giving them ample opportunity, North Star has not complied and is deserving of the stiff consequences of the fine, said Commissioner Annie Bukacek at the meeting. So I'm just here to let you know that if you haven't already heard from folks that they lost the water again. And it's almost like, this isn't funny, if you live there, but you almost know it's summer when North Star runs out of water again, or the residents lose their water again. So I'm just here. I hear there's going to be an update on North Star. So I'm just here to listen to that as well and encourage you to, I think, I'm sure you all share my concern about this. And I look forward to, seeing what action you can take. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. You might want to stick around. We're going to be having an announcement on that here after a while. Next, do we have any other in-person commenters, public commenters? Seeing none. Do we have any online? We don't have any online? Okay, we had one that was tentative. I believe that's the end of the public comment. So we will go to announcements. Go ahead and then I'll pop something up. Okay. Okay. Are there any changes to the agenda or any expected late arrivals or early departures of the commission? I do have an administrative announcement. Okay. Okay, I'm going to read this into the agenda. This is my announcement for the day. The commission has the following announcement regarding docket number 2020.09.094, investigation of North Star Development LLC. The commission issued order 7744E in December 2024, finding that North Star had failed to show cause why the commission should not pursue penalties as prescribed in Montana Code Annotated 69-3-206. Commission cited North Star's failure to cooperate with the commission and failure to provide reasonably adequate service. Pursuing penalties under Montana Code 69-3-206 requires the commission to file a case in district court, calculating and justifying a specific penalty amount based on evidence gathered in the commission's investigation. The commission intends to take up the issue of the penalty amount at a work session by the end of this month. Regarding the service interruption that occurred during early morning hours of July 1, the commission is in the process of gathering information. It appears that 2 of the well pumps were affected by an electrical short, which caused certain system protections to respond as they were designed to. North Star has asked customers to restrict outside watering while it replaces damaged electrical components. As further details regarding this incident become available, the commission will respond appropriately. The commission sympathizes with the customer's concerns, and the commission is exercising the authority it has according to procedures as we are required to follow. That is the end of the announcement. Senator Wellborn, or Commissioner Wellborn, did you have a comment?
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. If I may, Mr. Chairman, I would like the commission to take a moment to pay respects for the passing of one of our own, former Commissioner John Vincent of Bozeman. John was an educator by trade, a former Speaker of the House, a Bozeman mayor, and a Gallatin County Commissioner. John loved Montana and its people and led that by example. A true statesman in every sense of the word. My heart goes out to his family, and Mr. President, may I respectfully ask for just a moment of silence.
Indeed, we'll take a moment of silence for the former commissioner. So with that, I would like to say that I believe I'm the only commissioner here that actually served with then Commissioner Vincent. He and I always got along very, very well. So I didn't agree on everything, but he was a gentleman to the core and a statesman. So I also mourn his passing. Montana's lost a statesman. Are there any other comments on anything or announcements to come before the commission? Seeing none. We'll move to approval of the minutes.
Mr. President,
Commissioner.
I move approval of the minutes for the week of July 1st, 2025.
We have a motion for approval of the minutes, July 21st, 2025.
I'll second that.
We have a second. Is there any discussion? I'm sorry, what did I say? Getting the lead on this. Okay, is there any discussion on the approval of the minutes, which has been, the motion has been seconded? Seeing none, all those in favor of approval of the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. 5 zeros, the ayes have it. We'll now begin the work session. We will start off with 2024.04.043, Alpine Public Utilities LLC's request to increase rates for water and sewer service in Kalispell, Montana, to issue a final order on APU's amended application. Staff has moved forward. Who will be the lead on this?
Yes, good afternoon, President Molnar, Vice President Fielder, and Commissioners. On April 8th, 2024, Alpine Pacific Utilities filed an application with the PSC under the Commission's operating ratio methodology, the simplified regulatory treatment option. And they proposed to increase rates for its water and sewer services within the Glacier Ranch subdivision in Kalispell. APU's amended application on June 23rd, 2024, proposed an increase of 8.6% for its water service and also a 7.9% increase for its sewer services. After a lengthy procedural schedule, which included multiple rounds of discovery, intervener, and rebuttal testimony, staff agrees with the MCC that APU has not provided the sufficient or reliable information that is needed to set just and reasonable rates in this case. For this reason, staff recommends that APU's proposed rate increase be denied at this time, and we're available for any questions that you may have.
Did you have anything to add?
No, thank you.
Okay, so do I hear a motion on staff's presentation?
Yes, sir. I make a motion to deny the increase in APU's water and sewer service rates and approve and authorize staff to issue the draft order as the commission's final order in this docket with any appropriate clerical edits.
You heard the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And Commissioner Panoche seconds. Is there any discussion?
I just wanted to briefly say that it's a pretty clear-cut case, and I think it's stated on page 13, paragraph 29 stated clearly, it was APU's burden to develop an evidentiary record that showed its requested rate increases would result in just and reasonable rates. APU failed to meet that burden, as Mr. Nurse had talked about.
Is there any other discussion?
Just a bit, Mr. President. I just, it's been kind of a part of our mission at the agency to help regulated utilities come into compliance and to help customers who are having problems with utilities comply. And this is just, I think this case has taken so long because the utility wasn't able to provide the information that was necessary to give us evidence to justify increasing the rates. They didn't provide adequate evidence that they have made expenditures that were reasonable and necessary to provide the service to the customers. And without that kind of record, we really don't have anything to go by. So I concur in the motion and will be supporting it.
I do have a question for staff. It's my understanding that the lack of evidence or substantiation comes from missing check stubs or receipts or anything. Is that correct?
That's correct, President Molnar. We did ask for, we were just looking to verify, some of the major expenses that they put down on the ORM spreadsheet, which was the basis for their proposed increase. So we just picked out a couple that kind of stood out to us. And we only received about 42% of the invoices that we had requested.
I asked this once before and I don't remember the answer. It seems this comes up occasionally. Let's assume that a month from now, they get word back from their credit card company and they have their receipts or they find canceled checks or something in a bank statement and they can prove up, half of what they're short. Would we then allow them to enter it in, or is this a final on this application?
President Molnar and commissioners, this is a final order for this particular docket, but as stated at the end of the order, APU is more than welcome to submit another application with supporting invoices. The commission has never set a bright line for, like, if you have 75% of receipts, that's okay. It's always dependent on the circumstances presented. If they came back with more explanation of why they didn't have certain receipts. And Another issue we pointed out in this order is that some of the receipts don't have adequate support for the services that were shown, in addition to receipts that are just missing. So there is a possibility that APU could come back with a adequate application in the near future.
Has APU been made aware that they can resubmit if they find more information?
President Molnar, yes, this order contains a paragraph reminding them of that
Okay.
opportunity.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion to follow staff's recommendation signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. 5-0, motion passes. And the second one is a travel report, to present a post-travel accountability report for recent staff travel exceeding $500. Who is the staff? Oh, it's you. Okay, please.
Good afternoon, President Molnar and commissioners. My name is Amanda Webster, and I'm a staff attorney here with the commission. I am here to report on travel I took in the first week of June from Helena to Missoula, the total cost of which was $2,271.02. The majority of this cost was registration for the training. At this training, I received extensive legal advocacy instruction and constructive criticism from law school faculty at the University of Montana, Missoula, which included judges, experienced litigators, and other communication professionals giving feedback on our presentation skills, and also a variety of lectures that I thought were very useful. I obtained over 28 credit hours towards my continuing legal education, which will fulfill my requirement for this year and part of the next year. And I believe this opportunity fulfilled the department's goals to increase staffing proficiencies and help us defend sound commission orders. Thank you.
Any questions?
I'm just going to comment, Mr. President. It sounds like you received some excellent training. Thank you for taking the initiative to spend your time there and do that. And thank you very much for tying it to our strategic plan and how your training ties in with the objectives of that plan. Thank you.
Any further questions or comments? Seeing none. Today at 3 p.m., we'll have our quarterly commission administrative meeting in the commission conference room. Oh, well, it says travel report. There's no S on this. Okay. Who would be the other staffers, or are they both you?
I can go, Mr.
Oh,
President.
okay.
Went to Portland, Oregon, and subject is we have enough power for the Western United States, and it has become a security issue. And I think that in testimony we just listened to with Northwestern, we have to understand that Montana does take care of Malmstrom Air Force Base, which is undergoing $1 billion of reconstruction across my district. And I think that the connection that's going to go between North Dakota and Colstrip through my district is very important, because that power really isn't for Montana, but Washington, Oregon, and California. And the subject came up that these power lines can carry more if we reconductor between Colstrip and Seattle. And in some testimony by Northwest Energy, they didn't feel that there would be any gain by reconductoring to the high performance conductor. And I've gotten a couple of phone calls from CTC Global and Epsilon, both saying the science is absolutely there, that we can reconductor and carry more power. And I think that one of the important subjects in Portland was, if we're going to make this connection between North Dakota and Montana, which is going to cost a couple $1 billion, we need to plan that we can reconductor between Colstrip and Washington. And in the event we do that, the connection between North Dakota and Colstrip needs to plan for that, so we don't end up spending more money later, not thinking ahead. Okay. So anyway, that was all very interesting. Another part of the meeting that was important is reducing fire risk. Okay. And I think everybody understands cutting carbon is important, but one forest fire produces more carbon than all the coal plants in the United States. So if you can prevent one fire, you can cut a lot of carbon. Okay. So if we can reduce fires started by the utilities, that is actually cheaper cutting carbon by reducing the fire risk than what the coal plant even admits. And I think that we need to focus a little more attention towards that if cutting carbon is really important. And so with that, I think it was very constructive. And as the country grows, one thing that is important to say was discussed. When we removed some of the hydroelectric dams and closed down the coal plants, the failure was we really didn't have the power to replace that when we shut those down. And the reason that's important to mention is I think that is why the price of electricity has increased sharply across the Western United States. And that's very bad planning. And we have to make sure we don't do that again. Now, in Washington, D.C., where Molnar and I attended a meeting, they said, look, we may have to bring some coal back online because we can't have a situation where people don't have power at all. Okay. And then, of course, the people that are against coal complain about that. But what's important is in the future, if we're going to shut down a coal plant or remove a hydroelectric facility offline, you have to make sure the power is there to replace it. And that certainly was a mistake that was made. So that's something that I think was interesting. And when people are saying, can you explain to me why rates are going up? That's a reason right there. All right. Thank you.
Are there other staff or commissioners that, oh, I see one getting ready.
I have a little
Commissioner
short PowerPoint presentation. Same conference that Commissioner Pernocci went to, and my travel cost, the registration was $550, airline $302, hotel $360, meals $84, taxi $130. So it came out to $1,425 for the trip. And 60 cents. Thank you, Vice President Field.
trying to make off with a big 2 quarters and a dime. She's willing to go to prison. I can't believe it. Okay, are there any others? Oop. Oh, I apologize.
Should be less than 5 minutes. I'm hoping it'll be less than 3.
Can we shut off just this one bank of lights, or is it one size fits all?
Can you get the lights in the front?
There we go. That's great. Thank you.
Comes with the territory.
So the conference that Commissioner Panochi and I attended, it was the Western Conference of Public Service Commissioners, June 1st through the 4th, 2025. It was in Portland, Oregon. And this is a photo of Bonneville Dam. Here's another photo of Bonneville Dam, very beautiful. So the keynote speakers included FERC Chair Mark Christie. I think the very day that he spoke, June 2nd, he was removed as chair, but anyway, replaced. He talked a lot about regionalization. He talked a bit about the RAP program, RTOs, other things like that. It was a great discussion. General session discussions included lagging technology adoption rates and regulation reform. Concurrent panel discussions, there were so many of them and you could only go to one at a time. These were some of the ones that I went to. All very interesting, a lot of great information. The theme throughout the conference was the importance of collaborative, cooperative relationships in order to optimize affordability and reliability of utility services. So affordability and reliability were the big topics. General session discussions included bringing affordability into focus. And there was another one, is affordability possible when costs are rising? In this particular general session topic, panelists offered their ideas for a modern definition of the long hallowed but seldom defined regulatory objection of affordability. Those were their words. How do we define affordability when all bills are high? Everybody is struggling. There's inflation affecting everything. Everything is expensive and it's difficult for many to pay for life's necessities. How do we define affordable in this situation? Is the utility price reasonable? How does it compare to the national and regional average? And I could proudly say in Montana, we are 4th lowest in the nation for our residential rates. And in the mountainous region of multiple states, we are number 2 lowest in our electricity rates for residential customers. Customer perception often does not align with data. We have people come in that are misinformed either by the newspapers or from different websites saying that instead of Montana being the 4th lowest in electricity rates in the nation, that they're the 4th highest in the nation. So again, customer perception often doesn't align with data. We need collaborative ways to maintain affordability based on data, not misperception. That was part of this talk. More robust conversation with customers is needed so they can better grasp the value of life-sustaining services. Yeah, I think part of the problem is, is that the websites of a utility company can have a tremendous amount of information, but if people aren't looking on that website and they're getting their information from mainstream media, it's likely not to be accurate. This is another thing in this topic. Somebody said this: profit is an imprecise and misunderstood word. The definition is the revenue earned minus expenses. I think people know that. But the reality of profits for a utility company, for every $4 of profit, there might be $3 invested back into the business. $3 reinvested into viability of customer life-sustaining services for every dollar that goes toward employee compensation and dividends paid to investors. So this is not something very well understood. And I don't know if that, $3 out of $4, if that's pretty standard, or if that's just this particular individual that was speaking, his particular company or his experience. But I think that's something really important for customers to understand. And the reality of utility profits, utility company profiting for the ratepayers benefit from utility companies' ability to attract investors and keep loan rates low. Those things both go into the cost of the utility company providing services, and if they can have a healthy financial backing, then that cost is lower to the ratepayers. So that was a focus in this talk. This is something that one of the speakers said: assume positive intent, assume utility companies operate in the best interest of customers, and that is part of what drives earnings. Trust but verify. We're not here to micromanage these companies. We don't have the ability, and it's not our job. We're not supposed to just scratch and claw and squeeze every penny out of them. They run their companies, but we need to regulate them and look closely at what they do. But again, assume positive intent. There's a range of reasonables that we talk about in rate analysis. And part of that is because rate analysis involves art and science. They talked about that in this presentation. It's not all science, and not everything can be figured into an equation. Financial strength, the utility company benefits utility customers, especially for the long haul. That was spoken about. This was something I really enjoyed. It was a 8-minute talk. There were 5 different people that talked about things they were passionate about. And this particular individual, Elaine Hart, co-founder and principal of Sylvan Energy Analytics, she talked about salience bias. Definition of salience bias: the human tendency to focus on information that stands out due to prominence, emotional impact, or vividness at the expense of other, less noticeable, less emotionally charged details. She talked a little bit about the media, creating flashy content with ease that is devoid of facts and or takes facts out of context, leading to echo chambers and groupthink, rather than promoting intellectually honest, independent thought. It was one of my favorite talks. So there were a lot of opportunities for networking, and I didn't take advantage of a lot of that because we had the big rate case the very next week, and so I needed to study for that. So I didn't, but I usually, when I go to these meetings, I do get to know people, and I've gotten to know the public service commissioners from Idaho, Washington, and Oregon, and I think very highly of them. So the fund of knowledge at this conference was superlative. The quality of the people who avail themselves to you is exemplary. Summary: a lot of great information provided and questions asked. Western states face similar energy sector problems. Suggestions and ideas were provided, but not a lot of solutions offered, as you might expect. But it was very encouraging, the high quality people that are at the helm, these different public service commissioners from the different states. Takeaways: capability and value of regionalization, the importance of thoughtful consideration of the impact of utility company financial standing, the importance of collaborative, cooperative relationships, not just between states, but also include collaboration with the utility companies we regulate. Acknowledgement: primary takeaways for me are generally things I knew the least about prior to the conference that are most directly pertinent to my job as Montana Public Service Commission. Let's keep the lights on at the best possible price. And I'm very grateful to those who spoke at this conference and those who organized it. And thank you for your indulgence.
Hey, you're the light guy.
Commissioner,
Yeah. We get you a little
Commissioner
class.
Panochi,
Commission light guy.
can you clarify your, the amount on your travel, please?
I haven't seen it. I have not seen that yet. Last I checked, it wasn't available for me.
The post-travel accountability report, Commissioner Panochi, that's in our folder.
Oh,
I think you hand wrote your purpose of the meeting, and it has your total amount posted on there as well.
what page is that?
It's behind tab 2 where the travel accountability reports are. Yours is the second page.
Looks like it's $1,425. And I covered a lot of the cost past that on my own.
Just a correction. Do you want to take a look at that again? I think it's in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah, that's mine.
No, Randy Panochi.
154809. Right here.
So 1,500. $1,545.69. Sorry about that.
Okay, any other travel related or any other issues? at this time. Our next business meeting will be July 23rd. We are not having a business meeting on the 15th. On the 16th, two commissioners have to be in northwestern Montana. Don't want them to have to drive down or turn around, drive back. If we happen to have a need crop up, we can have a interim business meeting.
Mr. President, just, did you say July 23rd?
22nd.
It's the 22nd.
My
Okay.
comma ran into my two.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and on the same 22nd, after the work session, we'll have an informational with the utilities and others interested on trying to coordinate something on House Bill 490. Like I say, that will begin after the work session. Public is invited. Seeing no further business to come before the commission, for the record, the time is 2:11 p.m. The date is July 8th. Again, I apologize for my tardiness this morning. This meeting is adjourned.